Okay. Okay, I'll put all these recordings. I have the recordings of the last sessions as well today into the S3, and I will give you the links. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The second one is a gateway cached volumes. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
In this option, your volume data is stored encrypted in the Amazon S3, visible within your enterprise network via iSCSI interface. Recently accessed data is cached onto on-premise for local latency and local access. When you use this model, a cloud storage is primary, but you get low latency access to your active working site. So in this scenario, in this kind of a segment, what happens here is this is your on-premise, this is your cloud. So any person accessing, he will access the storage which resides here. This will be a primary. The cloud will be a primary, and the backup would be on your on-premise.
Okay. But it says cached, right? So I was thinking it will first query the cached, and if it doesn't find in the cache, it would go to the cloud.
Gateway, where in this option, your volume data is stored encrypted in the Amazon S3. It gets stored here first, actually. Visible within your enterprise, recently accessed data is cached onto on-premise for low latency. Now, there will be a cache here actually for low latency. If a person tries to reach out, he can get data from here, but usually it is the entire complete data is here and the backup is here only. So this is a different kind of an architecture. So predominantly when an application is migrating into the cloud, this is a most commonly used architecture. But in certain scenarios, people may go for this one, but usually they would go for this kind of a migration. This is when you go for something called blue-green migration, actually, right? So you know what blue-green migration is? Blue-green migration is a migration where an application does not have a downtime at all, actually. So you may Google it. You can study a little bit more on that.
How do you spell that?
Blue-green migration.
Oh, blue-green.
Blue-green migration. Just study about that. Okay. Gateway virtual tape libraries. We discussed about what a tape library is, didn't we? Did we or did we not?
I don't think so.
I think we did.
I
When we
think
discussed about SAN, NAS.
Yes, a little.
So
You also mentioned like S3.
in older times, even today, what happens here is there is this DAS. Then we have NAS, then we have SAN, right? We all know what DAS, NAS, and SAN is, correct?
Yep.
These are all different architecture for storing your data, right? Direct attached storage, network attached storage, storage area network, right? Now, these are all expensive solutions. What do you do when you want to store your data for a long time at a very low cost? So the oldest and the most effective today, as well as probably in the future, is something called as the tape libraries. So these are the solutions which, like for example, if you are as a new cloud engineers, they don't know what tape library is. But I have worked on these tape libraries long time back. So these tape libraries are, you know about those video, the video cassettes, VHS cassettes?
Yeah.
video homes in during your kids days, probably you used in your VCRs.
Yeah.
Same like your audio cassettes where you had the tape.
Yeah.
Exactly same. Those are magnetic tapes. The data is stored on those magnetic tapes in form of bits and bytes. That is the most reliable data for 100 years. Like you take out the tape even today and try to run it, okay, you will be still able to see the videos, you will be still able to see the audios. It will not go bad even after 100 years unless you manually rub it or your head that rubs it too frequently, right? So that is the reason, that is the most reliable storage. The only disadvantage of that is it is sequential. Like if your data is at the end, if you want to listen the song which is at the last, you need to forward it, right?
Yeah.
Until you reach the last song, you cannot directly search for that. Whereas in the disk drives, you can point your header to wherever you want and listen to what you want. But it is the lowest cost storage, but with high latency. So even today, for storing your backups, your data backups, which is in thousands and petabytes, terabytes, and petabytes, you store all the data in these kind of tape libraries only because these are low
It
cost.
was also, Salim, it was also really cool that you can, it has side A and side B.
Yes. So on the tape library, see, you used to have like this actually. So this was the tape, right? So the overall tape structure was like this. You had two splinters here and two splinters here, and this was a tape that used to go from here to here, and the head used to come and read here actually, right? So if this was the tape was divided into two sides actually. This side is A and this side is B. Okay. Now the head, whatever reads, right? The head is big enough only to cover this area, this space. So the head reads from this area. Now when you reverse it, the head points to this area and it reads the B area. So that was a kind of division that used to happen. Okay. So, but in VHS, you did not have A and B side actually. You used to store it in this way, in these segments. Because the head was big enough to cover the entire area of this much. Okay, so this is this is a tape library, and AWS offers something called as a virtual tape library. Virtual is you don't really have the ability to touch and feel the tape itself, but it is stored using that concept. So that is what is gateway virtual tape library. Is this option you can configure a gateway virtual tape library with up to 10 virtual tape drives per gateway, one media changer, and up to 1,500 virtual tape cartridges. So these each cassette is called as a cartridge. Okay. Each whatever response to SCSI command set, you can use this to backup application.
What is SCSI, Salim?
SCSI. SCSI is a kind of method, like you have the iSCSI and SCSI. So these are two different concepts actually in storage actually. Interface, it has an abbreviation. I forgot what the abbreviation is, but these are two different formats of storing. iSCSI interface and a SCSI interface. I studied this long time back, but I don't remember actually. So these three you need to remember. They'll give you a scenario and ask you what is best suited for this one actually. So usually most of the questions you may have to answer between these two. Remember, gateway stored volumes, the primary is on premise, secondary is your cloud. gateway cached volume. Primary is the cloud and secondary is your on-premise storage. So go through this article, white paper, Google it and go through this white paper today. Take that as a challenge and go through this white paper today actually.
Salimbai, which one is expensive, by the way?
The expensive would be this one first. The second one is more expensive.
Because okay, we are using the storage.
We are using directly the storage and then having a latency, caching it onto the volume actually, right? So
Okay. Isn't it the first one actually which is expensive?
now here already you're sending out the snapshots. Here you are directly, again, you can check on the cost. I have not very much researched, but this is more used because this is where the migration actually happens. This is less used.
Okay. Okay.
This is the typical scenario of many applications. Like you have application one here, right? Now your applications are migrating into the cloud. You don't want continuity to be stopped from this one. So at that point of time, you slowly migrate here, and then from gateway stored volumes to gateway cached volumes. You slowly migrate. First, you go to gateway stored volumes here, and then slowly push this to this one and make this as the backup for some time, and then you completely remove it so that your entire storage is here. You'll have your EC2 instance here itself, and then you push your storage here again, here itself. So this will be completely eliminated out. So it's a phase by phase one. You start with this one. Phase one, you start with this one, then you go with this one. Okay. And you continue to use the same thing. If you want your application to, if you want your application to always be here, you don't want to move your application to the cloud, then you can, instead of having your own storage backups here, you can just use the backups of cloud. This is less expensive compared to having your SAN storage here, right? Or your own tape libraries. HP, IBM, these were one of the largest providers of these tape libraries actually. And they incurred a huge loss. The infrastructure side, HP's data centers were well known. IBM data centers were well known. So they incurred a huge loss when AWS people started moving into cloud. Okay, I think we'll end here today. We'll start with the next topic is database. Database is a new session for Anwar and Khadir, Murad and Idris. I think Abdullah, you already have a session. It will be a revision for you, good for you guys. So we'll start, and we'll have some other guys also maybe tomorrow. So we'll start with database tomorrow.
Inshallah.
Yeah, it was a nice session.
So we'll start with the database tomorrow. That's the next session. Very important. Don't miss out.
Sure.
Okay. And guys, start learning Golang, as I told you. Right. So we can, I can start giving slowly small classes, even though I'm
You said
new to it.
Golang is the future language?
Yes, 100%. So when you are already working on learning a language, why don't you learn the language which is coming up?
Nice.
Why not the future language?
Yeah. Okay, guys. Take care. Have a nice day.
Jazakallah, Salim bhai.
Salim bhai.
Yes, see you tomorrow. Inshallah.
Shukriya.
Allah Hafiz.
The tip thing was actually a good explanation.
What?
The tape example was actually a good explanation, to understand the concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Maybe
It's-
you're building teaching skills. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Salaam.
Bye-bye.
See you guys. Assalamu alaikum.